Struggling farmer builds a ramp for a disabled girl. The next morning, a military convoy blocks the road. Chapter 1, The Cracked Boots of Samuel Burke. Samuel Burke had worn the same cracked leather boots for 11 years. They trudged across the same field every day, under the same sun, through dust and hardship, stitched with more hope than thread. The harvest was lean again this year. Too much rain in spring, not enough sun in July. And now September winds whispered reminders of unpaid bills and a barn roof that wouldn't last another winter. Still, Samuel rose every morning before the rooster's cry, because duty was a language he spoke fluently. He'd inherited the farm from his father, who'd inherited it from his father before him. Generations of calloused hands. It wasn't wealth, but it was legacy. And legacy, Samuel believed, wasn't something you sold when times got tough. Yet even legacy couldn't fill a gas tank. His dog, Buck, limped behind him as they walked toward the roadside fence. The morning fog still clung to the earth like it, too, was reluctant to rise. That's when Samuel saw her again. Chapter 2, The Girl with the Yellow Backpack. Every weekday morning, a little girl in a wheelchair was pushed down the road by her mother, past Samuel's farm. Her name was Lily. Samuel didn't know much about her, only that she was maybe 8, wore a yellow backpack with butterfly pins, and always smiled when she passed. Her mother, a tired woman with worry on her face, never made eye contact. They'd moved into the small cottage down the road 2 months ago. That morning, the wheelchair's wheels caught in the gravel. Samuel saw it happen from the fence post. The front wheel jerked, and Lily tumbled forward, caught just barely by her mother. She didn't cry. Just laughed and said, "I'm okay, Mama. Just a bumpy ride." But Samuel didn't laugh. That road had always been rough, and there was a deep ditch between his fence and the pavement. Anyone with 2 good legs could hop over. But not a little girl in a chair. That night, as a cold wind rattled his windows and the bills on the kitchen table mocked him, Samuel grabbed a pencil and sketched a rough drawing on a brown paper bag. A ramp. A smooth slope down from the roadside to his barn's gravel drive, allowing Lily and her mother to bypass the dangerous ditch altogether. He stared at the sketch. He had old wood in the barn. Nails, too. He didn't have time. Or energy. Or strength. But he had duty. And kindness. That was something his father had taught him wasn't measured by what you had, but what you gave anyway. Chapter 3, The Night the Nails Sang. Under the cover of stars, Samuel worked. He laid the wood carefully, as Buck sat beside him, tail thumping gently. His hands ached with every hammer strike, but he kept going. Somewhere in the silence of the night, something sacred stirred. A forgotten power in giving. The kind that heals without asking for reward. By dawn, the ramp was complete. Samuel left no sign. No name. Just a simple path laid across the ditch, sanded smooth with care. Then he waited. Chapter 4, The Morning the Road Vanished. The next morning, Samuel watched from his porch as Lily and her mother reached the edge of his field. The wheelchair paused. Lily looked down at the ramp, then up at her mother. "Mama, look." They rolled onto it gently, and Samuel saw the girl's face light up. She waved toward the farmhouse. Her mother, eyes glassy, mouthed something he couldn't hear. That was enough. But fate wasn't done yet. An hour later, the ground began to rumble. At first, Samuel thought it was a storm. Then came the low roar of engines. Dust rose on the horizon as a military convoy appeared, dozens of trucks and personnel carriers, flanked by soldiers. They halted right in front of Samuel's farm. Soldiers fanned out, surveying the area. People began gathering along the road, whispering rumors. Terror threats. Evacuations. Some secret government training. Samuel approached cautiously. A tall man in uniform with a chest full of ribbons stepped forward. You Samuel Burke? Samuel nodded slowly. The officer pointed to the ramp. Did you build that? Samuel's brows furrowed. Yes. For the girl down the road. The officer turned. Bring her. Within minutes, Lily and her mother were escorted to the front. The officer knelt beside Lily. This is the girl, he said. And this is the ramp. Samuel was more confused than ever. What's going on? The officer stood, then turned to the growing crowd. His voice rang clear. Ladies and gentlemen, allow me to explain. Yesterday, one of our units was returning from a disaster relief operation in the southern states. Their route was blocked due to flooding, so we diverted them through this region. He pointed to a large satellite map. This farm road was listed as a critical backup access. But the ditch right here, he jabbed the map, was marked as impassable for wheel-based transport. Except, this morning, one of our engineers on reconnaissance noticed something new. He looked at Samuel. This ramp. The officer smiled. We traced the local effort, expecting perhaps a team. Instead, we found one man, building it at night. For a little girl. Not because anyone asked him. Not for money. Just because he cared. Samuel swallowed hard. His boots suddenly felt heavier. The officer turned again. In honor of this act of compassion, and its unexpected utility in our operation, the U.S. Army is proud to announce a new local initiative, Operation Heartland. Cheers erupted from the soldiers. We'll be building ramps, sidewalks, and access points in every rural town we pass through, starting with this one. And the first honorary consultant for rural accessibility is Mr. Samuel Burke. Chapter 5, The Farmer Who Planted More Than Crops. In the weeks that followed, reporters came. Interviews aired. Donations poured in for accessibility projects, and for Samuel's farm. The barn roof was repaired, courtesy of volunteers. A new well was dug. Buck even got a new orthopedic bed. But none of that mattered as much as the moment Lily wheeled herself onto the front porch of the Burke farmhouse, a crayon drawing in hand. It was a sketch of a ramp, under a big sun, with a man in a hat standing beside it. "You're my hero," she whispered. Samuel took the drawing with trembling hands. For a man who had lost so much, he had never felt richer. Epilogue, The road we build. Kindness doesn't wait for wealth. It doesn't need permission or applause. Sometimes, it's just a man in cracked boots, hammering wood under moonlight for someone who'll never pay him back. But kindness has a strange way of circling back, riding on the wheels of a little girl's smile, and sometimes, arriving in a convoy. Because the roads we build for others often lead us to our own salvation.